Welcome to the Nut Gallery Review. We bring you the news on the media that shapes your world.
Welcome to episode 184. I'm Jason Schulte.
I'm Sean McFadden.
Thought we'd since this is our December episode, we would start out by talking about movies coming up in the next year in 2022. Somehow we've made it through another year. I have a list of a few of the bigger ones. Thought we would just run through that list real quick.
We made it. Yay, us.
Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. So the second Aquaman's coming out.
The first one wasn't bad. I enjoyed it.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So this will be taken over with a new actor in that role.
We'll see. We'll see on that one. I'm not so sure on this one.
The Flash.
This one I want to see.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
So excited.
Thor, Love and Thunder.
Which I'm excited for this one too.
Yeah, a little comic book heavy, I guess, on this list. Jurassic World Dominion, not a comic book movie.
No, but I'm going to see that one as well. My daughter and I have been following Jurassic Park for a while, and we enjoy it.
I put this on the list, but I don't believe it's in 2022. I think it's 2023. It's Indiana Jones 5, but I haven't really heard that went forward, and all of a sudden it's like on the list of upcoming movies. So
Nope.
And finally, Batman, The Batman in 2022.
I'm curious.
Patterson playing Batman.
I'm curious to see what Robin Pattinson can do.
Yeah.
We've had the actors that we've kind of grown used to as Batman. I'm curious to see kind of what I guess a younger actor will take with it. So I'm curious. We'll see.
No, Christian Bale was fairly young when he took on that role. I mean, probably the same age, similar age.
Was he? I'm not doubting you there. It just, with the voice,
yeah,
it kind of makes him feel a little older, I guess.
Yeah. So at least a few things to look forward to. A few movies be rolling out again.
Indeed.
Our movie classic of the month was Mike's pick. Mike is not with us today for reasons to be determined later.
To be determined later. It sounds like we've got him locked in a box somewhere. We'll determine what reason you weren't here later.
Oh, gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. But his movie pick was The Other Guys, starring Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. And it follows a bunch of two guys that one is just happy with his desk job, doing all the dirty paperwork. And the other one aspires to be a little bit more than that. He aspires to be the other guy, the hero, the superhero-ish cop.
The go-to guy.
Yeah. They have a couple very dynamic people that they look up to early in the movie, with The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson as
aim for the bushes.
Is the two that everybody wants to be, and they'll take a petty theft and turn it into a $20 million expense for the city, but they got that guy. So anyways, you got these two guys that just want to be more than, well, one wants to be more and the other one is just kind of along for the ride because he's his partner.
Yeah. That's a pretty good summary, Jay. What did you think of the movie?
It had some moments that were pretty funny. I'll give it that. I had some moments that I'll go with what I thought was probably the coolest thing with the movie.
Okay.
That'll probably be the easiest. Is they were able to take a couple like not really funny jokes and then carry them through the whole movie. And they actually got funnier with time, which is rare. But I was happy that a couple of the jokes, like you weren't expecting like a running joke, but they became running jokes.
Sure. As long as you're okay with me jumping in here,
sure.
It was I have seen The Other Guys a few times. It is a movie that my fiance very much enjoys. However, I believe this is one that you kind of have to be in the right mood set for it. Because as you said, the humor is a little, I don't know if it's the right word, but I'm going to go with it, off center. It's not, it's not your mainstream comedy. It's not really slapstick comedy, though there is a fair bit of that in there as well. It's just a little off. And or off center, whatever. So though those jokes that you say, start in the beginning, you're like, okay, is that funny? Okay. And then as it goes on, you're like, okay, yeah, I've warmed to it. Um, but I believe you have to be in the mood to watch this movie, and it can be a very enjoyable movie if you're in the mood to watch it. If you're in the mood for kind of a little, you know, a little bit off-center comedy. Um, Will Ferrell to me has also been kind of a hit or miss in any kind of movie. For example, I'll take flack for this. I did not like him in Step Brother or Step Brothers, whichever one that is. I can't get through that movie. I can't do it. But him in Elf, I happen to find him quite amusing. In this movie, him kind of playing the quote unquote straight for Mark Wahlberg to play against works out for him, because you can totally see that character being exactly how Will Ferrell is portraying him, as just he likes his statistics. He likes, the being the guy that's in the office working on the paper. That's where he enjoys. That's his excitement. And you kind of see things from Mark Wahlberg's character's perspective that, you are living a boring life. And that's probably one of my favorite parts, is when he comes over to his house to meet his gorgeous wife, that he quite frankly is just straight up like hitting on. And he's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, but Will Ferrell's character is sitting there like, yeah, she's average. But
Yeah.
nice if she would have made herself look presentable today.
Yeah, but yeah, the fact that they can keep a straight face while those lines are happening right there, that one's probably my favorite part of the movie. Yeah, it's they are detectives, so there is that element of a quote unquote detective movie there, who done it, solve the mystery kind of thing there, interlaced with the comedy. So that being said, I think they do it fairly well. If I had my real big complaint about the movie, is I think Mark Wahlberg's character is just a touch too Mark Wahlberg, or perhaps a touch over the top. It seems like he goes from 0 to 60 without stopping anywhere in between. With his emotions and things like that, he can go from calm to raging psychotic in almost the drop of a hat. But that's probably my nitpick of the movie there.
That's yeah. We're talking about, it was Eva Mendes who played his wife, so certainly was better than average.
Gorgeous is the word you're looking for.
And it's kind of funny because Will Ferrell's character just always has like hot women hitting on him, and he's like, Mark Wahlberg's character is always trying to figure out why are they always like what is it? I would make this movie as kind of it's almost Naked Gun, it's almost Rush Hour, and it's almost Austin Powers. So if you just kind of like put all those in a ball and roll it up, you get little bits of all of that. You don't get all of it. You just get so you roll it all up in a ball and you pull the piece off, you get a little bit of all of that. Not necessarily.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So I don't know if that's good or bad, because it's kind of detective comedy, but it really doesn't take itself serious like Naked Gun. It does have a little bit of seriousness, like Rush Hour does have some serious parts.
Mhm.
And then Austin Powers just off the rails, and it has those, like when they're riding around in a Prius as their
Yep.
detective squad car and like chasing people in a Prius, uh, which was one of the running jokes, was this Prius getting, I don't know, one scene it got towed all the way to Vegas, I believe, with them knocked out inside. So
one of the scenes that I do have to talk about that gave me a genuine laugh the first time I saw it and the last time I saw it is when they're going to question this guy, and he keeps giving them like, like, oh, you want courtside passes to the game tonight? Oh, okay. And then they halfway through, damn it, we fell for it again.
yeah.
And the bad thing, it gets funny and it gets ludicrous because it happens like 3 or 4 times in a row where they're sitting there enjoying it, and then they realize, dang it.
Yeah, so there's some really well written scenes. I'll give it that, and they can be funny in the right mood. If you're probably in a sour down mood, I don't know that this will pick you up, but I think you got to be ready for a kind of a not so serious comedy about 2 bozos trying to be detectives.
That's right. Yeah, probably kind of bumbling their way through. Yeah, that's an easy sum up. To kind of cut to the chase of it, though, I don't know that I'd really call this one a classic. I enjoyed the movie, so don't get me wrong on that. So it does meet that criteria of it. I guess I wouldn't fight it too hard, but I'm unsure if I would give it the classic status.
And I'll be honest, I remember when this came out, and I had never thought about the movie again until Mike suggested it to be the classic. So this was my first time seeing it.
Oh.
But the fact that, like, you would think that somewhere in that like decade, the movie would come up in other things for it to be a classic. And I never heard it. Like, I forgot the movie existed until Mike suggested it. So I'm kind of with you. I think it's fun. It's a comedy. I don't know that you'll regret watching it. Does it elevate to the level of some of the other films that we talk about as a classic? Probably not.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's an entertaining movie. But classic does feel like a stretch.
All right. Well, the verdict's still out, I guess. Maybe we'll revisit this in another 10 years and see what we think of it then. I want our one listener to remind me that 9.5 years from now.
Write it down.
Moving on to movie releases. December 10th, National Champions. 3 days before the college football national championship game, star quarterback LaMarcus James and teammate Emmett Sunday, what a great name for a football player, right? Emmett Sunday.
That's right.
Ignite a players' strike, declaring they won't compete until all student athletes are fairly compensated. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I guess, I have my own opinions on that. Fairly compensated. I feel like if they get an education for free, that's pretty fairly compensated. But whatever. Also, December 10th is Being the Ricardos. Lucille Ball, played by Nicole Kidman, and Des Arnaz, Javier Bardem, are threatened by shocking personal accusations of political smear and cultural taboos. A revealing glimpse of the couple's complex romantic and professional relationship. The film takes audiences into the writer's room, onto the soundstage, and behind closed doors with Ball and Arnaz during one critical production week of their groundbreaking sitcom, I Love Lucy.
I saw the trailer for this, and I kind of shrugged. My fiance was like, "Yes, we have to see that." I'm like, "Do we? Do we have to see that?" I'm like, don't get me wrong. I respect the hell out of Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz. I used to watch, I Love Lucy back in syndication when I was younger.
Probably on
Um,
rerun.
but yeah, but I I don't have any need to really watch this movie, I guess.
The only possible saving grace is you have Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem. West Side Story, also December 10th, tells the classic tale of fierce rivalries and young love in 1957 New York City, directed by Steven Spielberg.
I'm interested why this movie was made, actually.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I did not sure why it needed to be made either.
I mean, and West Side Story, the movie is old enough. I mean, it was made in the 80s. So I can see from that, but when you've got a name like Steven Spielberg, you have to assume he's got something better on his plate than, a remake of an 80s musical.
Maybe he just wanted his name attached to this. Who knows?
It's possible. I don't know.
December 17th, Spider-Man No Way Home. For the first time in cinematic history of Spider-Man, our friendly neighborhood hero is unmasked and no longer able to separate his normal life from the high stakes of being a superhero. When he asks for help from Doctor Strange, the stakes become even more dangerous, forcing him to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. Stars Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And it's going to have a whole bunch of bad guys. I hope that works out better this time than the last time they decided to do a Spider-Man movie with a whole bunch of bad guys.
I know. I'm excited though. I'm excited about this. I'm really hoping that it is what I think it is. It's basically a take on the Madam Web storyline. And I am excited about that. So we'll see. And Tom Holland's been a fantastic Spider-Man in all of them. So yeah, fantastic.
December 17th also has Nightmare Alley. It's R for strong bloody violence, some sexual content, nudity, and language. In Nightmare Alley, an ambitious young carny, played by Bradley Cooper, with a talent for manipulating people with a few well-chosen words, hooks up with a female psychiatrist, played by Kate Blanchett, who is even more dangerous than he is. Directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Really?
I have a feeling your fiance will want to see this.
I have a feeling as well.
Actually, it's pretty. I think it looks pretty good.
Guillermo does good work.
Yeah.
I can't say that I've ever seen any of his movies that I've been disappointed with. So we'll see.
It reminds me of a book I read, and I believe your fiance also read that book, and I can't remember the name, but it kind of has that feel with the carnival and stuff. It'll come to me later.
The Night Circus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of feels maybe enough twisted like that, but December 22nd, Sing 2, rated PG. Buster has turned. Do I need to read this? I mean, you can't really turn on a TV and not see a commercial for this.
I thought this came out years ago.
Well, the first Sing did.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about 2.
No, it's coming out.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'm just been over saturated with it.
Had trailers for so long for it. So it's just a continuation of Sing, but they want to go bigger. Go big or go home.
Sure.
December 22nd, The Matrix Resurrections.
Shoot, is that already coming?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll talk about, we'll read this and then I'll go into it a little more maybe. And a dystopia overrun by robots, Nero, mankind's greatest hope, is trapped in a limbo world. Meanwhile, the majority of the planet's population remains in a state of suspended virtual reality. The few humans who are cognizant of the grim realities of the world desperately try to hold off the their mechanical enemies long enough for Nero to escape and save the day. But things turn disastrous when an all-powerful computer program, Agent Smith, arrives in the flesh. Stars Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Jada Pinkett Smith, Lambert Wilson, who all reprise her roles from previous movies.
So just a quick note there. I'm assuming you meant to say Neo in that.
Yeah,
Okay, I kept hearing Nero, like the
Neo.
character Nero.
No, Neo.
So okay,
Sorry.
continue.
The last one left such an impression on me that I'm not so sure I'm ready for this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. The kind of left a little sour,
Yeah.
shall we say? Um, I'm I'm interested to see what they're going to be doing with this, but also this is another one of those like, man, I hope the story is good because the I felt burned by the last one. So we'll hope that there's some redemption here.
Yeah, I just don't know that the series needed to be continued, or at least in movie media. But
Agreed. I mean, yeah, as you say that the comic books, the animatrix, all of those were fantastic add-ons.
video games have been good.
Most of the video games have been good. There
Yeah.
have been a few like, why did we do this? But yeah.
Also December 22nd, The King's Man, set to explore the origins of the Kingsman organization in the early 1900s up to World War One.
Man, these are all coming at the same time.
It feels like they just released one of these, so seems
yeah, this is the one I want to watch. And as you said, they've been having trailers for this for a while now. So yeah.
December 22nd, The Tender Bar. The Tender Bar tells the story of JR, a fatherless boy growing up in the glow of a bar where the bartender, his Uncle Charlie, played by Ben Affleck, is the sharpest and most colorful of an assortment of quirky and demonstrative father figures. As the boy's determined mother struggles to provide her son with opportunities denied to her and leave the dilapidated home of her outrageous, if begrudgingly supportive father, Christopher Lloyd. Now, the interesting thing is this is directed by George Clooney, and it's based on a book, 2006 book memoir by J.R. Moringer, which was published by Hyperion. It's a true story. So I actually really like in the trailer how Ben Affleck's character comes across. So I'm hopeful for this one.
Certainly a fair amount of big names attached to it.
Yeah. December 25th, American Underdog. American Underdog tells the inspirational true story of Kurt Warner.
Okay.
So, based on Warner's memoir, All Things Possible, My Story of Faith Football in the First Miracle Season.
I don't have any issue with a movie being made about Kurt Warner. That's fine.
No, it might actually be a football story that isn't like depressing and
yeah.
December 25th, Tragedy of Macbeth. After being convinced by three witches, Scottish lord sets out to become the King of Scotland. This will be a black and white film based on Macbeth by William Shakespeare.
Who's directing? Do you know?
I don't have that.
Okay.
Down.
I mean, that's another one that, do we really need another version? Do we really need another version of Macbeth?
Apparently so.
I disagree, but they're dropping it on Christmas, which means that they're hoping to grab that crowd of people that just do movies on Christmas.
Yep.
So,
December 25th, Journal for Jordan, story of First Sergeant Charles Monroe King, who, before he is killed in action in Baghdad, authors a journal for his son intended to tell him how to live a decent life despite growing up without a father. Stars Denzel Washington and Michael B. Jordan, and is directed by Denzel Washington.
I take issue with these types of storylines. I'm gonna, write all this out on how to be a good man because I'm never gonna see you, and I don't know. I don't know that anyone would actually be thinking not thinking that way, but have the time to do all of that and actually follow through on all of it. But anyway, carry on.
Finally, Jockey, December 29th. It's R for language. An aging jockey hoping to win one last title for his longtime trainer. Through injuries and the toll taken on his body, make him question whether he should continue his lifelong passion.
Is there some big name attached to this one?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. I must be thinking of something else then.
That's the list. So I would probably put my list as 3 Matrix, 2 Tender Bar, and 1 Spider-Man.
Ooh, well, Spider-Man is number 1. That's the big thing. Kingsman, I want to see that as well. There was another one right in there, but we'll just go 3 Matrix, 2 Kingsman, and then 1 Spider-Man.
Well, that brings us to streaming and Blu-ray releases.
All right. So there is a fair amount of, how shall I put this? Shovel to DVD releases coming. So I sifted through, and these are the ones that seemed to be the actual movie releases and not just peddling for, some of your Christmas money. Week of December 7th, we've got Ron's Gone Wrong. As a quick word from our illustrious Mr. Jason said it wasn't bad. We have Dear Evan Hansen, which has kind of gotten a bit of mixed reviews for a lot of people who were a fan of the previous outings, the book, the musical, and everything. They said this was kind of a little bit of a soulless interpretation. We've got Cry Macho, which every time I hear that title makes me giggle a little bit. Even though it's a freaking Clint Eastwood movie, and no Clint Eastwood movie should make me giggle in the slightest. And we've got Werewolves Within. A community trapped has to figure out if there is a werewolf among them, based on the game. But this one, it looks like the writers at least kind of had a little bit of fun with writing it. So it does look actually interesting there. Winning some awards, we've got One Night in Miami, which, if you don't remember, I do have a quick breakdown on that one. Despite being declared the new heavyweight boxing champion of the world by defeating Sonny Liston, Cassius Clay is forced to stay in a different area of Miami due to the Jim Crow era segregation. He spends the night at the Hampton House Motel socializing with Jim Brown, Malcolm X, and Sam Cooke. The group spends the evening discussing civil rights and how to go about empowering Black Americans and moving the country forward. I did win a fair amount of awards, and once again, touching on my fiance there, she said it was a very good movie there. I did not see it myself. Next up, we have one that I did want to see in the theater, but didn't get the chance. We've got Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I'm going to see it, even though I believe that this should have been left at an R rating instead of bumping down to a PG-13. But as Jay has pointed out to me in the past, they can do a whole lot with PG-13 anyway.
Yeah, I think it's the lesser of the two, but
The Card Counter. A small-time gambler tries to keep ahead of his troubled past, i.e. his troubled past, the fact that he was the torturer in a prison. Then we have language lessons. While learning Spanish over Zoom, the student and instructor become involved in each other's lives. And evidently, I'm wrong on the next one, according to the reviews. It's The Mitchells versus the Machines. I don't like the trailer, and I can't even get through it entirely. It's an animated movie. It's about the last family on Earth trying to save the world against the robots. It feels very much like cringe comedy, and I'm not a fan of cringe comedy. Ending out our December releases here, we've got the week of December 21st. No Time to Die, with the final outing as Daniel Craig as Mr. James Bond. And then Blue Bayou. Man discovers his citizenship is at stake after basically growing up here, having a family, and becoming a father. And that is your movies worth mentioning coming out this December.
Well, I thought since we've renamed this streaming, we should also talk about that Boba Fett is coming out on December. The Boba Fett series is coming out on Disney Plus on December 29th.
I did miss that. I will be watching that. Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't notice that. My apologies, viewers.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of stills and some trailers and things, and it looks like it's right on par with Mandalorian for quality. And, you know, how can you not? I mean, here's one of the most culturally like embedded characters that gets like 4 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, seriously.
And in the original movies, if that, he gets a little bit more maybe in the prequels, but not really, no. But so it's just kind of amazing that he has such a like following out of such little material, and here now he's going to get a whole series. So,
yeah.
So about time to give him some love. Video game releases. I have a short list because it's December, and it's usually all the big games are released prior to December to catch the holiday shopping. December 2nd, Solar Ash, artistic style game set in a black hole. It's from the developers of Hyper Light Drifter. Originally going to be released in October, but was delayed for its PS4, PS5, and PC release. December 7th, Final Fantasy Endwalker, coming to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PC, Mac. Final Fantasy Endwalker is the fourth expansion for the MMO. Endwalker brings the tale of Hydaelyn. I hate these names. And Zoodark to a conclusion, eons in the making. To unravel its mysteries and conquer its challenges will be no common feat. May these records of key figures, looming adversaries, and lands yet untraveled serve you well.
You did all right, Jay.
December 8th, Halo Infinite. After multiple delays and setbacks, Halo Infinite is releasing on Xbox One, Xbox X and S, and PC. However, it will be releasing without the co-op campaign and Forge mode, so users will have to wait until spring 22 for the full experience. I'm at the mindset you just wait.
Yeah,
the complete game, because then they'll have the definitive edition or something come out
naturally.
Yeah. December 9th, Loop Hero. Loop Hero is coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch and is available for pre-order now. The Lich has thrown the world into a timeless loop and plunged its inhabitants into never-ending chaos. Wield an expanding deck of mystical cards to place enemies, buildings, and terrain along each unique expedition loop for the brave hero. So it looks like you play through and you add stuff, and then you play through again, add stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. December 9th also has Wytchwood. That's one I'm kind of excited for. I think it looks really fun. It's coming to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox systems, Switch, and PC. Wytchwood seems like the perfect game to waste away chilly winter afternoons. Wytchwood is a crafting adventure game set in a land of gothic fables and fairy tales. As the old witch of the woods explores a strange countryside, collects magic ingredients, brews sorcerer spells, and passes judgment on a cast of characters, the game progresses.
Interesting.
It looks just like you go around and collect things and build things, and just seems like a really just like a good, fun game to play.
Interesting.
Just mentioning this because I know it's pretty huge. December 14th, Among Us is coming to the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, X, and S. So for all the Among Us players,
it's still hanging on, man. It's still like, I thought it was going to be kind of that, good old flash in the pan. Like, it was big for a couple months, then disappear. And it's not as popular as it was, but it's still pretty relevant.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's getting to that like breaking point of, is it relevant enough to release it on these platforms?
I don't think so, but you know what? If it was just a matter of, coding it to a different system, then why not?
Might give it another year or two of
It might.
relevance.
It might.
December 16th, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. The newest iteration of Five Nights at Freddy's series is coming to PlayStation 5, 4, and PC in December. Security Breach is a first-person survival horror game set in Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. You play as Gregory, a little boy who is trapped inside overnight. And believe it or not, you have to rely on Freddy Fazbear to make it out alive.
Oof. No, thank you.
That's our December video games.
Hey.
So I am interested in Wytchwood, I think, out of that list.
Nice.
That takes us to what have we been up to lately? And it's been, it's holiday season and things have go crazy at that time of year. So I haven't had a lot of time to do much. I did watch Catch Me If You Can. It's about
That's
10
a good
years.
one.
Yeah, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. DiCaprio plays a con artist and comes up with mega schemes to make money. Is based on a real life con artist. So, and I also watched A Beautiful Mind, which I had never watched before either. I just missed that one. Kind of dreary, but it was still okay.
I have been reading The Fractured Void. It's the first of the Twilight Imperium series. Twilight Imperium, of course, the board game. So I'm quite a big fan of the Twilight Imperium board game. So I wanted to check and see what the book is, and it has been pretty interesting thus far. I'd say I'm about chapter 7, so it's still kind of setting things up there, but that is going pretty well. As far as movies, my fiance is pretty big on watching holiday movies around this time. So we had a compromise the other night of I wanted to watch some Mystery Science Theater 3000. She wanted to watch holiday movies. So I'm like, all right, here we go. Mystery Science Theater 3000, Santa versus the Martians. And that's what we watched. As far as video games, I just started playing Evil Genius 2, which if you're watching this, it went on sale, as long as my English is just spilling everywhere. It went on sale for the Black Friday sale on Steam. So been playing that and having some fun with that.
Yeah, I was playing the new the Game with Gold for November. And why am I not thinking of the name of the movie, the game?
I don't know. Had to been really interesting to forget like that.
Oh no, it's Kingdom Two Crowns. It's kind of a pixel game.
Okay.
And you go through and you have to go like hire archers, hire farmers, hire builders, and then you can build your like 2D castle that they defend. And then these guys come and attack you, and you rebuild a boat, and you get to the next land, and you keep going. I'm in the second land, almost to the third land. It's just like almost Zen-like, because you go around and collect money, and you send a merchant out to bring you back money, and those things. It's so you can just almost just sit and like chill, and you look up and an hour's gone, and you're like, huh, wow.
A relaxing game.
Yeah. I don't know, like there's a couple aspects of it that are kind of like, if you can build your castle, but if you extend your wall out, you don't get like a sentry to defend it. So they bust right through that. But otherwise it's okay. And you have to get to the second land to get stone, which would help you get to the first land. So then you can go back to that land to use the stone to build your castle bigger and eventually take out the portal.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been pretty fun. I probably have way too many hours into it for such a simple little game.
Like that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back before the new year.
There you go. Good night, everybody.
Until next time.